Hi, welcome back to the Photography Club. I'm your host, Sue, and today I'm here with ZOELLE Korogodsky.
Yes, you
Did I get
killed
it?
that. Yes. Hi,
What a fun
everyone. I'm
last
so
name.
excited to be here with Sue in the podcast and really excited to fill you in on all things girl bossing, business, influencers, and all of the things.
Yay, I'm so excited. We're going to actually talk about how do creators get invited to these brand trips or PR events. Not recently, like a year ago now, but I got invited to one of Sony's PR events with their camera stuff. They were doing a new camera release, and it was so incredible. And I really just want to learn more about how can content creators and photographers actually get invited to these type of events. So Zoelle, can you start by explaining what this event actually is? Like, what is a PR event?
Yeah, 100%. So, in my world, a PR event is about bringing community to a brand. So, essentially, a brand will come to an agency like my own. I own an agency called Catwalk Group, and they'll say, hey, we really want to create a space that feels very inclusive. We want to get creators involved. We want to get other creatives involved, such as photographers, videographers, anyone within that realm and worlds, and essentially we'll help them from point A to point Z of execution, implementing the creator lists and whatnot. But I think a PR event in general is about bringing community and uplifting one another through the power of social media into a specific space that creators are able to interact immersively with a brand.
Okay, perfect. And then Zoelle has created this Catwalk Carnival. Can you tell us what this is, Zoelle?
Yes. So about 3 years ago now, which is so crazy, I decided that I wanted to create a safe space and a community for creators, creatives, brands, and small businesses to come together and uplift one another through community connection and the power of social media. So kind of everything that I just
Love.
presented to you guys on the PR event side. And I really just wanted to start off with creating this inclusive community and creating events that everyone felt that they were heard, seen, valued, that there was people coming to these events that actually believed in the power of networking. They didn't care about other creators' follower counts or where they came from or their background, really just like inclusivity at its core. So we launched our first ever event at New York Fashion Week Spring 24, and I planned that event all by myself within 1 month.
Oh my goodness.
It was insane.
That is
We
insane.
I'm saying we, but me in that moment, I do have a team now, um, was able to, get about 200 creators in the door. And the reason being
Wow.
was because I myself was a micro creator. I still am. So at the time, I was immersed in all of these different community group chats and group me's and Geneva groups and all of these awesome tools that I'm sure we'll get into, Sue. But I was like, I just want to leverage, the community that I'm already a part of and really turn it into something greater and give everyone the opportunity to come into these elevated, luxurious events and really just create the most of these inclusive settings that you're not always seeing. Like at New York Fashion Week, events run very fast paced. Creators are walking into events, getting their gift bag, taking one picture, and then leaving for the next event.
Mhm.
And there's no sense of that community and meaningful connection for the brands and the sponsors and everyone that puts so much work into hosting and planning these events. So I really wanted to bridge that gap and create something very special. So at that event, like I mentioned, we had the 200 creators, we had 25 brand sponsors with literally no proof of concept aside from
Wow.
the mission that I'm presenting. We had Touchland, we had camera cases, a big menagerie of like small and then larger businesses, which was incredible. And the event was a massive success. Everyone came without a plus one, although some creators did know like other people attending ahead of time. And everyone either left with a new brand connection, a new best friend, new followers, all of the things that we really were going for. I really wanted everyone to come into the space and leave with really awesome and amazing connections. And then on top of that, the social exposure was so incredible for all of the brands involved. And there was no contracting or anything. Everything was organic. We made little postcard printouts at the time with all of the different brand sponsors reminding people when they checked in that they should be tagging and uplifting these brands since they are donating either their services or products for free. So that's where the proof of concept essentially came from. And then from there, rewind to now, which is May of 2026, we've done over 75 events within the experiential space.
In
We
that
started
short of a time, 75 events? You
insane.
okay, no wonder you're so busy. We've, like, been communicating. I'm like, "Okay, when can I get you on this podcast, girl?" No wonder.
No, it is, I mean, such a fast-paced industry that I love so much, and I'm so happy that I'm able to make the time today to be on here and kind of give you guys the inside scoop of, the behind the scenes and whatnot. But yeah, we started in the New York Fashion Week space. That's where the name Catwalk Carnival came from. I wanted to do something a little bit kitschy, a little bit edgy. And as we continued to expand and plan more events, we expanded outside of New York Fashion Week into other relevant influencer spaces like the Hamptons, like festival weekends surrounding Coachella. And then,
Yes.
beyond, we're doing just random summer events in Manhattan, and we're looking to expand to Miami. We've done things in LA, really
Oh,
all of
that's
these
insane.
like relevant hotspots. Yeah,
I
so
love
really
that.
exciting. And today our mission is still the same, which is very important to myself and my team. After that first event, I realized I could not continue doing this on my own. So I was able
Oh,
to
yeah.
hire some incredible interns that have been with us up until like from that point up until now, and now they're graduating. So we are looking
Oh,
for to grow our team and to hire more interns. But
I
it's
love
been
that.
such an incredible journey, the way that we've grown, and I can't wait to share more.
I love that, and Zoelle actually just got back from Coachella. We were chatting about it before. Can you kinda give a little breakdown of how your event at Coachella went?
Yes, I would love to. So, as you guys know, we started as Catwalk Carnival. As we continued to expand inside other spaces, we kind of rebranded to the Catwalk Group. And we have much more of a community slash 360 agency presence, which is so exciting. We decided, and last year was our proof of concept to host a festival event surrounding Coachella Weekend 1. And we partnered with Rosaluna Mezcal, and it was a great success. It was a much more intimate, smaller sized event. We had about 40 creators in attendance. We had some press, some other relevant people within the industry. We partnered with photographers. We had about 8 activation sponsors and then about like 25 gifting sponsors. And that proof of concept really, and I will say in this industry, you really do need to have some sort of proof of concept to essentially be able to work with larger brands and really build that community amongst the creators as well. So that event was really cute in my opinion. I don't feel that it was, and this is me being picky as a founder, I
Yes.
don't feel that it was like as elevated as it could have been, but I think we were working with a very small budget. It was amazing to partner with a like-minded brands like Rosaluna Mezcal, who has very similar missions and visions as we do. And it was very rewarding to be able to have that experience of like, we hosted this event during festival weekend. It was extremely successful. And knowing
Yes.
me, how I work, I always like to go bigger and better. So once I had that proof of concept, I hit the ground running and I started to plan for 2026. And I decided I wanted to recreate that very similar event where creators were getting ready with us for festival weekend. We strategically placed the event on Friday of weekend 1 of Coachella, and we do it more in the morning hours so creators can really like come in. It's a gifting suite experience so they can get a ton of goodies that they can organically use throughout their festival weekend.
Oh, that's
And,
so
and
cool.
incorporate
Okay.
content and all of the things. Um
Okay.
this time around, we contracted creators to essentially come into our event space, and in exchange for them to come and interact with 20 of our activation sponsors and over 70 products in our gifting
Oh,
suite,
wow.
they were just required to post tagging all of the brands involved, and we gave them very like specific instructions. And that proof of concept really works and is very
Mm.
valuable for the brands involved as well. Brands don't just want to send free product and then never hear, about how their products were used or all
Yeah,
of the
and they never know if they're even gonna
yes,
get posted.
yes. So,
Yeah.
as a creator, I think it's really important for anyone in that space, if you're ever invited to any sort of PR event or if you're pitching yourself to attend, letting the team know on either the PR side or the brand side that you are going to be posting a ton, tagging all of the
Mm,
brands, doing stories, reels, TikToks, in feed posts, literally anything and everything that you can imagine, and really incorporating their brand in an aesthetic way. We don't pick our guest list based off of follower counts. I solely pick our guest list off of vibes, aesthetics, and passion. And I feel like if you are a creator and you really want to be there and you're expressing you are passionate about the brand or the mission of the event, and you are passionate about really publicly promoting and also just networking with other people on site, those are like the big three reasons why I would want to include you on a guest list.
I love
Aside
that.
Yeah, and aside from that, I just wanted to say the event was absolutely incredible. We rented a major estate in Palm Springs. We had, like I mentioned, about 20 brand activations, everything from hair touch-ups, B12 shots, all the way to ice cream stations, smoothie stations, branded
And so
bar, water
were
bottle charm stations, and all of the things.
sorry to interrupt you. I was just curious. So the creators that came, were they had to post something from each of these brands at the event?
So they were contracted for 3 different deliverables. One was an in-feed post or a reel or a TikTok tagging all of the activation brand sponsors. The activation sponsors are putting in a lot more effort than just sending over product to us. They are actually physically bringing in a team, popping up on site, and providing a service to promote their business. So that's where I was getting the hair touch-ups, the B12 shots were
Mm.
either partnering with local businesses or larger brands. Bubba Brands did a water bottle charm station where girls can pick their water bottle. This is actually my water bottle from the event, and then you got this, like, really cute charm that you can
Oh,
customize,
I
and all
love
of these
that. Okay.
experiences were very curated.
Okay.
ESW Beauty had, like, a massive build-out where they were promoting their new product, their facial mist. Um, and those are just a couple of examples of how that works. And then for the gifting sponsors, the creators were essentially supposed to go home or go back to their Airbnb or whatever after the event and post a haul or a laydown of all the products, tagging all of those sponsors. So everyone really is
Mm.
getting highlighted in these moments.
And was that also an in-feed post or just on their story
It
of all
that
the
one we
products?
we just let them kind of choose. It was up to their discretion.
Okay.
And we saw a lot of girls and gays in our community were able to actually post a haul, like, on TikTok, which was really exciting because that wasn't required, and then a lot of
Oh,
people
okay.
also go the story route, but I would say it was, like, a good balance of a mixture of
I
both.
love that. So they had to do one in-feed post and then one haul picture of all of the goodies they got?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. And then just to kind of break this down super simple, because I know when I was first learning about PR and stuff, I'm like, what even is this? There's so much going on. So
Yeah.
basically, you kind of bring everyone together. You work with both the brands and the
Mhm.
creators, and so you hold a space for all of these brands to come and feel supported, and then you find the creators to come and support the brands. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Way to describe it. We are in touch and we have the community and the brand roster, and then we have the influencer piece, and we bring everyone all together in that safe space.
I love that. So if someone were trying to be a content creator and influencer, how might they get invited to an event like this?
Yeah. So I think, like I mentioned, there's definitely a big three here. And I think it's really not necessarily about your follower count at this point in time. I think brands are really looking for organic and authentic influencers and creators that physically want to be there. So I think the main thing, and I know everyone says this, but being consistent on your platforms, even if you're not gaining followers, even if your engagement isn't rising, I think being consistent in your aesthetic and the type of content that you're producing. If you're a lifestyle influencer, just making sure you're posting pretty much every single day, putting your name out there. If you want to strategize a little bit more on a deeper level, you don't want to post every day, posting like 3 meaningful things per week to really just keep that momentum up, show brands that you are always active. So that's
Mhm.
number one. Number two, I would say just being able to show that you are super passionate about the brand, about the mission for the event. Let's say a brand is launching a specific product, really explaining that that product would resonate with you, that you're really excited to try it out, that you have been a long time fan of the brand, that community matters to you. And that moves into my third and final piece of advice here, in terms of getting invited to these events. I think really showcasing that you are passionate about community and connection, and you would be an attendee that would stay at the event for the entire time. Brands really struggle. A lot of creators that do have higher followings come to these events, like I mentioned, for like 5 minutes, get a picture and
Yeah.
leave. And it's really important to brands who are putting so much work and effort into these events to have retention at these events and have creators stay and enjoy and build that community and foundation. And that means if you do, fall into that category, that they'll want to continue to work with you again and again and again as you continue to grow yourself as well.
Okay. Perfect. I love that. And then would you recommend, of course, always tagging all the brands that you love? And then how important is it to go and actually engage on their pages?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. I would say if it's a brand that you are unfamiliar with and you've never, seen them, interacted with them, etc., they're probably not gonna want you at their event because they have never, seen you showcasing that you are passionate. I think it really starts from point A, like following the brand, you know, keeping tabs on them for a long time, liking and commenting on their posts. A lot of large brands, like an example would be Revolve, like they're not getting tons of comments and tons of engagement because they post so often. So
Mhm.
when you do go like and comment, they are noticing that a specific person, your handle, is continuously doing this. So I definitely think it's very important. And it's not going to be a make or break for every single event and invite and moment, but I will say it definitely helps and puts you in a strategic position.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then I know you basically touched on this, but is there any other advice you might have for getting invited back and like continuing this relationship with these brands?
Yeah, I think in terms of retention, I feel like, posting some really great deliverables in live time, but then after the event as well. So keeping the timing very relevant. So the brand might want to reshare or repost, doing the most in that sense, in that piece of the pie. But then also taking it a step further. I personally love to get a thank you note from a creator after an event, really showcasing that they enjoyed the event, giving personal details of like what they loved. Any sort of feedback is always very helpful. But I think taking it a step further and emailing whoever invited you to the event, thanking them, for inviting you, allowing you to be in the space, and making a little comment at the end like, I would love to, to be considered in the future. Or if you wanted to even take it a step further, like I would love to, work with your team on a more collaborative level. Like, do you have any social campaigns? Can we get coffee? Can I hear more about what the brand is doing? So I definitely think very similar to, looking for jobs and sending thank you
Yeah.
notes, like kind of following that type of route is always very successful, especially when creators are coming to me, and I know other colleagues and other brands definitely feel the same way.
Yeah, that's wow, that's such a good tip. I'm like, "Oh, man, I should have wrote Sony a letter when she invited me."
And I will say, like, a handwritten letter, like, that would
Mhm,
I've never received one, I know brands do, but, like, that would fully blow me away. Like, an email
mhm.
obviously is amazing, but yeah, if you wanted to go above and beyond and, like, make a little, like, collage of some pictures from the event and write them a letter, I feel like you would be on the PR list until further notice.
Yeah, I love that. So what about for reaching out to these brands? Because I know sometimes people will reach out to you, but what if you're just not getting anything? How would you reach out to somebody?
Yeah, I have a couple of really interesting tips that I typically like to use. A lot of brands have a typical like collab email in their bio. It's normally like pr@princesspolily.com. Those
Mm,
emails suck, in my opinion, because they are
that's what I've
getting
heard.
hundreds of thousands of inquiries every
Mhm.
single day, and most likely, if you don't have a connection to someone that works there, your email is never even going to be looked at, even if you have 1 million followers. So my piece of advice, especially for rising creators, is to utilize LinkedIn. And this sounds a little crazy, so
Hmm,
let me walk you through it really quickly.
okay.
So you're gonna go on LinkedIn, you're gonna type in, and I highly recommend having a list of like 50 brands every 2 weeks that you want to go out to get PR from. I would like keep updating that list constantly because there is so many brands in this world and there's so much opportunity to reach out and you never know who is going to say yes. I always feel like that's a really good piece of advice, and if someone is saying no, you're not asking the right person as well. So you have
Mhm.
your brand list, you go on LinkedIn, you search that company, you go to the company tab. Let's say we're looking at White Fox Boutique. Then you go to the people section and then you find people that work in the PR, influencer, or marketing department under the people tab of LinkedIn. And
And is that
essentially
labeled
it
there?
is. Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll see like the different job titles. You might have to scroll a little bit. But typically on like the top row, you will see some relevant people that you can reach out to. Then you're going to jump on ChatGPT or Google, any really search engine platform that uses AI. And you're going to ask, what's the email configuration for this brand? And typically it's going to tell you, but I would say maybe 8 times out of 10, it's going to be first name, last name, at, and then whatever is in like their PR email. So at White Fox Boutique, at princesspolly.com.
Okay.
So that's a really good way to reach out to someone directly versus going into this spam, not spam email, but this PR email that's receiving hundreds of thousands of inquiries. This person, yes, they're probably getting emails on a day-to-day basis, but they're not getting hundreds of thousands of emails. So your name will pop up and they will most likely see you. And other ways to reach as many people, I highly recommend doing those steps and in the process reaching out to probably 4 to 5 people from that specific company. You can use the same exact pitch. That's totally fine. I think, utilizing ChatGPT and AI to come up with like a really decent pitch, obviously put your own spin and your own words and your own personality into it. I also think even if you're a very small creator making a media kit or a UGC portfolio of past work you've done, if you've never even done work for a brand, ordering product from that brand and creating
Mhm.
videos as if they were sending you PR is my highest and
That's good.
my strongest tip ever,
Mhm.
because I did that back in 2022. I had no prior experience with brands. I was in college at the time. And then Princess Polly reached out to me like a few weeks later and they were like, we'd love to work with you on this fall campaign. And
Oh,
then
I
from
love
there, I
that.
got so many other opportunities. I was able to work on the Victoria's Secret Pink campus team. And then, like, I did the Prime Student Ambassador program. So, also for your high school girlies and anyone going into college social media marketing is major, especially when it comes to creators or even people that don't have much of a following but wants to get into the space. Like Gen Z and Gen Alpha is so important to brands. So really just doing the most that you can do and following all of these steps, and you'll definitely be able to get some really amazing opportunities. And there's so many different ambassador programs that are just offered for college students solely. So, taking a look, following brands consistently, reaching out to them even ahead of time before like the new school year starts in August, are some of my pro tips there.
Okay. So a lot of brands like to participate in these events with college students? Is that what you were saying,
So,
basically?
not essentially events, but I would say like social media opportunities. And then they do
Okay.
different events to campus and whatnot. But I would say
Okay.
like my community really focuses more on like luxury events for
Mm.
post grad people.
Okay. Okay, but brands do reach out to a lot of college students.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Okay.
just wanted to include
Mhm.
that being
Yeah.
relevant to your audience as
Yeah,
well.
that's really helpful. And then in these emails, I'm assuming you'd probably wanna approach it the same way as, like, "Is there anything I can do for you?" Like, do you have any tips on pitching yourself or what specifically to include?
Yeah, I think a few highlighted things that I would want to see if you were pitching yourself would be a little bit about you. I don't want the surface level elevator pitch. I kind of want to know like what drives you to want to do this? Like, so
Mm,
what is your reason for wanting to do social media? I think that's really important. I think ensuring that piece of your email is very organic and is true to you. I
That
think being
community.
yourself is so important, and brands don't just want the same copy and paste creator to be making content or attending events.
And that makes so much sense with, like you said, you are looking for those people who want that community and not those people who are just gonna come take a picture and then leave. So I love
Exactly.
that. That's really helpful. Yeah. Perfect. And then what about putting your email places? Because brands typically reach out through email, right? So how do you make yourself available for somebody to easily find you and reach out to you?
Yeah, that's a really great question as well. I personally have my email in my Instagram bio and on my business account. I have it in my TikTok bio. I have it linked to my Instagram so someone could just click on that like little email button and that they're able to email you right away. Um, it's really funny. I stopped pitching myself to brands probably about a year and a half ago just because I'm so focused on my business, but I
Mhm,
still get PR inquiries all the time from having my email in accessible places. I
mhm.
also feel like a lot of brands these days are navigating more towards LinkedIn. They kind of want to see who you are
Interesting.
professionally as well. And a lot of people don't have their email on their LinkedIn, but I recommend, especially if you're not someone with hundreds of thousands of followers and you're like nervous about privacy concerns, to definitely link your email there as well.
Okay, that's really helpful. I'm never on LinkedIn, so I'm like, "Okay, I need after this call, I'm going to make
Get
an
on
account."
it. Yes. I know. I have to do like a massive update and like deep dive on mine as well, but I do think it's a very valuable tool that I just keep hearing more and more and more from brands. So definitely want
Okay.
to put that out there.
Do you feel like it would be helpful to put some kind of thing in your Instagram bio that says you are looking for PR or, like, open to, like I don't know what you would say. Is that helpful at all when you're looking for creators?
I think you can, but in my opinion, I just feel like a brand is going to look at your page and look at the type of
Yeah.
content that you post. And if you're posting organic content, promoting brands, talking about brands, showcasing your personality, showcasing a specific niche, they're going to understand, okay, this person is professional. They know how to create niche creator content. They would be able to promote my brand. And if your email is already in there, they'll be like, okay, I can just reach out to this person directly. I don't necessarily think you need to put like open to collaborations and whatnot,
Okay.
but if you are going on a specific trip and you want clothing
Mm.
PR or product PR,
Oh,
you can always post a story. And what I like to do is like I post a story, I'm like in search of brands that want to collab for these dates for this sort of trip. And then I'll put
okay.
that story highlight and you could label it something like collabs or in search of or something like that. And then brands can look at that and be like, oh, this actually would resonate perfectly with what our brand is looking for in our goals, and then they can reach out
Mhm.
that way.
And then would you tag brands in that maybe that you're thinking of might like,
Yeah,
that you would love
yeah,
to work
I would
with?
honestly I wouldn't, like, tag them, I would blind
Okay.
tag them. So, like, tagging them so they're not, like,
Not
physically their
seen.
mentions are
Yeah.
not seen, but
Yes.
then they are getting that tag, so they're probably going to look at your story
Yes.
that
It's
way.
like a fine line between not being super needy and annoying, but,
Yes.
like, just being there and helpful.
100%, and that brings me to another point, like, I have dealt with so many creators that have reached out to me thousands of times and they're not
Mhm.
meeting my criteria.
Mhm.
And it's just more about they have the passion, of course, but they're not meeting like the aesthetics or the quality of content we're looking for. But since they reached out so many times and it got annoying,
Yeah.
at one point, we're just not even looking at their emails. But eventually, if they're still consistent a year later, we're looking back at their profile
Mhm.
and we're seeing, oh my gosh, their content has gotten so much more elevated. They've grown as a creator. Now, this person actually would be someone that I want to include on my roster. Um, so I think being that goes back to being consistent, trying to elevate your content every single day, but also, yes, you can be annoying, and sometimes it does work in your favor if you're elevating.
Okay, perfect. I know you've talked on this a little bit of just creating really high quality content, but is there any tips you can give to content creators of really specifically what in your content these brands are looking for?
Yeah, I think that there's a menagerie of answers here, and it really depends on the specific brand.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I love to see your personality reflected in your content. So whether that's a vlog or a voiceover, but I also want to ensure that you have an aesthetic vision as well, and you're not just
Mm.
posting yourself on a run, yelling at the camera the whole time, and there's no aesthetic vision behind your content, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you actually took the time and intention to think about what your audience would want instead of just throwing something together.
Exactly, and I don't think it needs to happen every single time. I
Mhm.
will say I'm guilty as charged. Like, sometimes I'm creating content, walking down to my barn where my animals live, and I'm just kind of ranting or talking, but I think the majority of my content does reflect a specific aesthetic that I
Sorry, I don't understand.
Well, you're great.
that I, like, physically spent time editing and ensuring that the video is up to my caliber. And I think using different platforms like CapCut or InCut or like different things that can help you edit and make your videos better, essentially, because
Yeah.
of the different tools that they have that are easy to use. And even if you're not an editor, like, these platforms are really helpful to, and they're easy to use, in my opinion. So it's very
Yeah.
helpful to elevate your content that way as well.
Yeah, so I would say if you are a content creator and you're not getting these brand opportunities, just really take the time and analyze your videos and figure out what goes into making a good video, and that will probably help you a lot.
Yeah, that's such a good piece of advice. I remember back in the day when I was trying to get into this space, I would go through all of the content that I created, and I would literally be such a nitpicker and like write notes about every single thing, look at my insights as well to see what's working, what's not working. Utilizing your analytics, like, yes, it could be a little scary or overwhelming to look at the numbers and what's doing well and what's doing not. But even if you're getting 500 views on video type A and then 1,000 videos on video type B, you should probably continue to make video type B and try to elevate that style of content even more.
Yeah, that's such a good tip, and that was huge for me too when I started actually looking at the analytics. It tells you everything you need to know.
Really does, which is like, you would think that it does, but it is a little overwhelming and scary to like deep dive and kind of get in and figure out what's working and what's
That's
not.
true, that's true. It can be overwhelming, but I think the biggest thing is, like you said, that consistency. Just keep showing up and it'll happen. You're gonna get some videos that do better.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, that was such a great episode. We're going to end this here, but guys, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into the next episode. We're actually going to be I'm still chatting with Zoelle, and we're going to be digging into something most photographers don't even realize. You can host your own PR event. And you can do this to create so much community around your brand and build loyalty with your customers. And this will spark a kind of buzz that gets people asking, like, wait, why is everyone talking about this photographer? What are they doing? I want to be a part of this. So if that sounds interesting to you, that episode will be dropping next Tuesday. Okay, thank you, Zoelle.